Today I'm going to be reviewing the New King James Version Personal Size Large Print Reference Bible, and this one has the end of verse references. So just a little more information about this before we dive in here. This one is from the Premier Collection, so it's going to have the brown goatskin cover. This does come in several other cover options as well. It is Smith sewn and edge lined. We're going to have raised spine hubs, art gilding, which is red under gold. We're also going to have 3 double-faced satin ribbon markers. They are each 3/8 of an inch wide. We're going to have the premium European Bible paper, which is 36 GSM. The New King James Version Comfort Print, which is one of my favorites. It is line matched, and as I said before, we're going to have end of verse cross-reference system. Words of Christ are in red, and then it's going to be in a 10.5 font size. Let's get this out here. And you'll notice right away, if you are familiar with the Premier Collection, that this looks like the other Bibles that we have seen before in that brown goatskin Premier Collection. The same ribbons, which where mine got tucked in there. There we go. They're very nice ribbons. We also have that art gilding, like I said. We're going to have the perimeter stitching. And again, the raised hubs and the spine looking similar to the others in the Premier Collection. So let's go ahead and take a look at what makes this edition special. I'm going to start out with a presentation page. Trouble turning pages, there we go. So we're going to have the table of contents. We're going to get a preface to the New King James Version. And then we get right into the Old Testament. One thing I noticed right away with this one is it does not have the red accents. So in the other New King James Version Premier collections that I have, like the thin line and the single column Premier, you'll see the title of the book and the chapter numbers in red to give you those red accents throughout. And I can show you an example of that here in a minute because I have my others from the Premier Collection out here as well. But I did notice that right away. So this is just black. There's no secondary color accents in this one. It is double column layout. I think the font is really readable in this one. It seems larger than the thin line, which says it's 11-point font, and this one is 10.5, it said on the box. But I feel like this one reads larger. So definitely very easy to read. Now you can see as we're reading here, as we're paging through, here is an example of what the end of verse reference looks like. So you get to the end of a verse, and then you have a reference that you can look up to go along with the verses that you just read. So that's really cool. I like that. I think it's nice to have it right in the text. You don't even have to go to the bottom of the page and search for it. It's right there as you're reading, mixed in with the text. So I think, for me anyway, that would make it easier to actually use those references, because I'll be honest, I don't often use my references. I have before, but it's not something I do like super often or every time I'm reading or studying. So I think having them right there in the text would be really helpful for me and maybe encourage me to use those references more. Chapter numbers are nice and bold, and as well as the headings are also bolded. As always, the paper in the Premier Collections is really nice, really easy to turn the pages for the most part. There's not really space in this one for notes. It's just not really a note-taking Bible, but this paper does do well with taking notes and different pens. This is a nice hand-sized Bible as well. It'll be easy to carry along with you. It's not a thin line by any means, and I'll show you a comparison of that with the thin line in just a minute here. But it's definitely one that would fit in a bag, a case, and it's not super heavy to lug around. Lift that up a little bit there. So let's jump into the New Testament here. It is red letter, so you do get that second color there in the Gospels and wherever Jesus speaks in the New Testament. Red letter, as always, is pretty consistent and dark. I've never had an issue with the quality of the red letter in the Premier Collection, or in any of Thomas Nelson's Bibles, really. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the end of the Bible. Okay, there's not a ton here at the end, but just the normal things you would get at the end of the Premier Collection Bibles. Here we're going to have a concordance. As always, the font in the concordance is a little small, definitely much smaller than we've seen in the rest of the Bible so far, but that's just to keep the Bible a decent size, not make it too thick. And then we're going to get the maps at the end. And that brings us to the end of the Bible. So I like this one for the end of verse references. That's definitely what makes this one special and unique, that you have those references right mixed in with the scripture as you're reading. In my opinion, that makes them much easier to use. At least for me, it would make me much more likely to use them. As always, it's well made, it'll last, it's durable, it's a decent price for a premium Bible. Let me just show you now comparison to the other two that I have handy here. So this is the thin line from the Premier Collection. You can see it's definitely thinner because that's the whole purpose of that one. It is a little bit longer in length than this one. But then the other one, and this is my favorite, I always compare pretty much all my New King James Version Bibles to this one because this is my favorite one. This is the single column Premier. The leather in this one's a lot softer, but I think it's just because I've used it so much. Like, it's definitely softened up over time. So if you have one of these and it still feels kind of tough yet, just keep using it. It'll definitely wear in and break in over time. But anyway, that's a little off topic. These two here, you can see the single column Premier is definitely a little thicker than this one. But they're similar size other than that. And then font size wise, I'm not the best at juggling multiple Bibles in videos, so I apologize for that. Hopefully you can kind of see it. Font size, I would say, is pretty similar. I do still feel like this one is a little bit bigger, a little bit more bold maybe. Bring that in a little bit there. But this one's definitely my favorite for reading, and I like the red accents in that one as well. So that's the single column, and then with the thin line, this one is definitely, in my opinion, reads the smallest of the three. Still pretty decent size. But hopefully you can kind of see the difference there. And this one's listed at an 11-point font, the thin line. I definitely say it reads more like a 10. And this one reads more like an 11, the end of verse, in my opinion. But that's just my untrained eye and kind of what I see when I'm just looking at it quickly like that. So again, this is the New King James Version, New King James Version, if I can speak correctly. Personal size, large print reference Bible with the end of verse references, and this is in the Premier Collection from Thomas Nelson, but it also comes in a variety of other covers as well. If you're interested, you can check that out, and there's several options there to suit your interest.